Qingque, a lovely girl from the Divination Commission, who as they say is someone that will never slack off when it comes to slacking off. Now we did get to meet her quite a bit during the main storyline quest. I won't spoil too much in case you haven't gotten to that part, but I think she was sweet and have a decent character design. However, today we want to kind of focus on her skills and potential abilities because I myself have been building her and playing around with Qingque quite a bit, and I find her to be a very fun and unique character of Honkai style, and furthermore she isn't really literally the best character in the game. However, she still gets the job done for you and can be insanely powerful when certain conditions are met, which is exactly what we'll be going through today's video. We'll go through all of her skills and kit as well as her builds and team build, so that if you are lacking in quantum character guys, which the game is quite lacking at this point, we only have, you know, Zila. If you did skip on her, then you will have to wait for Silver Wolf at this point in time. But if you really are a free-to-play player and you'll be skipping on both of the 5-star quantum character, then Qingque is going to be the only quantum character for free-to-play players. So guys, let's just dive into today's video. Now Qingque's mechanic is what I would call pretty unique, not just in Honkai Star Rail guys, but I would say in basically all of Hoyoverse games, because I've never seen anyone like her, which something to be called a gacha within gacha game, because her main damage capability revolve around you getting the right RNG, rolling out your dice, hitting perfectly matched tiles in order for her to deal significant damage. So it's kind of like either she's going to be able to hit very hard or she basically deals no damage at all, because without the perfect RNG hit on Qingque, she would deal very little damage. So how her skill works is that obviously first she has her basic attack, which is kind of like the basic attack for all other characters. However, there's something unique about this too when it comes to her talent, because her talent has her randomly draw tiles on each ally turn, once per turn from a 3 possible suit. And whenever you have a 4 perfectly matched tiles, her basic attack becomes very enhanced AoE blast attack that deals very high damage guys, because it does have quite a significant attack percentage boost. Now however, if there is one tile that is not matched and you use the normal basic attack, you will discard one tile with the lowest tile match. So basically most of her attack resolve around getting a 4 perfectly matched tile in order for you to activate her cherry on top talent, which is where her skills come in, and it is very important because what her skills does is that it immediately draws 2 tiles and also grants Qingque damage increase until the end of the turn. So basically her skills is the gacha for Qingque to be able to draw the perfect tile. Now you can actually use Qingque's skills up to 5 times in a row and literally expanding all of your skill points just to try and get all of the 4 tiles to perfectly match each other. Now even though the skills does have the ability to stack up to 4 times of damage increase, it will still get spent on an underwhelming unenhanced basic attack, which at the end of the day it's still important for you to get all matching 4 tiles. Now of course, from all of my experience guys, usually the maximum time you have to go to using her skills is up to using 2 skill, and I would say it will be around at least 70% of the time you will be getting all 4 matching tiles already. So in the end, I do feel that it isn't really that bad. Now of course we don't have the specific statistic in terms of, you know, how much percentage you will be getting 4 tiles on every time you use a skill, because that will take forever. From my experience guys, it wouldn't really take you too long. She also have her ultimate that actually guarantees an enhanced basic attack after you using it, and also her ult does decent damage as well. The only thing about it is that it has one of the absolute highest energy costs in the game, so you do have to keep that in mind. So it's not always that you will be able to rely on Qingque's ult all the time to get all the perfectly tiles match. Now what's good is that her traces does help her quite a bit in terms of all of the kit she is having. Her A2 does refund you a skill point on the first skill usage of the fight is only once per battle guys, so you want to keep that in mind. A4 can give the stacking damage buff of her skill quite a bit of more value, and then A6 increases Qingque's speed for 1 turn after using her enhanced basic attack, which does help her to get back in the fight a bit sooner and help her to start recovering more ties and energy. And so once you get used to it, Qingque is a relatively easy character to understand how to play. Of course, her most important part is going to be using that enhanced attack and try to get her 4 match tiles where her skills comes in. The biggest problem I would say with Qingque's only guys is basically her skills using issue, because she can sap out your skill points of the team very fast. Of course, if we did have unlimited skill point usage, then Qingque would be absolutely powerful. Nonetheless guys, she is the very first free to play quantum and erudition character to be helping out your team, which is why she can be very useful, especially in the earlier parts of the game and if your account don't really have any other better DPS of the quantum element. For a light cone, she does have a couple of options. The first one's going to be Ying Yuan's 5-star light cones, where it helps you to increase her crit damage by a lot and also her skills and ultimate damage as well. The only thing is that she won't be able to trigger the Somnus Corpus because I believe that she doesn't really have any follow-up attack, so that wouldn't really be triggered on her, but nonetheless crit damage and skills as well as ult damage increase is pretty decent already. Other than that, Himiko's 5-star light code Night on the Milky Way can be quite nice because it's obviously for erudition character, plus you also have a lot of attack buff after you inflict weakness break. 4-star option, Today is Another Peaceful Day, is pretty good because it increases attack based on the wearer's max energy, and considering Qingque has a maximum of 140 energy burst cost, she will be making use of this light cone a lot. The Seriousness of Breakfast increases the wearer's damage by 12% at refinement 1, and for each enemy that is defeated, you also get attack increase and also stack up to 3 times, which is kind of like the basic light cone that you can have on her. And the Genius's Repose is quite similar, where you also get crit damage increase. So those are the few light cones that you can run along with Qingque. Moving on to her relics, the quantum damage set is definitely going to be her best. I recommend you to go with a 4-piece because I'm not sure why not, unless you don't really have a lot of relics and the ability to farm relics at this point in time. Then 2-piece of the quantum set and 2-piece musketeer to increase her attack is still pretty decent. As for the planetary set, you should go with the space sailing station, where it increases her attack by 12%, and once her speed reaches 120 or higher, she also gets an extra 12%. Since generally you want to have Qingque deal as much damage as possible, so attack increase is very nice on her. For the artifact stats guys, the body you should be going with crit rate. The feet can either be attack percentage or speed. However, if you are going with the space sailing station guys, then I recommend you to go with speed to ensure that she has 120 speed for the maximum benefit that it gives. Plus, the more speed she has, the more ability she's going to be able to go fast, helping her to get more tiles set up as well. Planisphere is definitely going to be quantum damage, and the Link Robe you can go with attack percentage increase. Now let's have a look at the importance of her Eidolons, because generally guys, you'll be getting a free Qingque whether or not you like it, because once you hit Trailblazer level 21 and clear the memory at stage 3, you will get a free Qingque. So the only question is whether or not her Eidolon is going to be helping her out. For E1, you get ultimate damage increase by 10%, which is okay. Any kind of damage increase will be beneficial on her. E2, every time she draws tile, Qingque immediately regenerate 1 energy. Now 1 energy feels quite insignificant, however considering how much energy burst she is required, any kind of energy regen will be beneficial on her. But of course this is not really the most important part of her Eidolons. One of the most important is gonna be her E4, where basically whenever she uses a skill, there's a 24 fixed chance to gain what's called autarky that lasts until the current turn's end. So whenever she uses a basic attack or enhanced basic attack, it immediately launches a follow-up attack, dealing quantum damage equals to 100% of the previous basic attack or enhanced basic attack damage, and this is quite huge, especially when you go ahead and use enhancing basic attack. This follow-up attack will also be dealt based upon the enhanced basic attack as well, resulting in a lot of damage. And especially if you are using Ying Yuan's weapon, now you can trigger its follow-up attack capability as well. And E6, I would say, is going to be her most important, because now whenever she uses an enhanced basic attack, she will be able to recover 1 skill point for the team, and that is quite nice considering normally her enhanced basic attack does not recover user skill point. But I know that it's going to be E6, so it's going to take you guys a while to hit there, so we'll have to deal with how her skills play out for the time being. Now for Qingque's team building, obviously team building is kind of like a vague discussion here in Honkai Star Rail, because remember how it usually goes is that you basically kind of want to have a DPS for each of the element, because later down the line in obviously Simulated Universe or Memory of the Forgotten Hall, you will be coming across different bosses that requires different elements to deal with. So Qingque here, if you haven't got any other quantum character at this point in time, then she definitely gonna be filling that quantum role. When it comes to Qingque's team building, the most important thing is generally not gonna be the element of the character on the team, but you have to be focusing on character that actually requires to use the least amount of skill point, because we know that Qingque requires a lot of skill usage. So of course, generally support character and defender character can help you out in terms of minimizing skill point usage. So definitely when it comes to free to play team build, you can look into characters such as Natasha, Pyro MC, Ting Yun. That's generally going to be a free to play team that I usually use, especially Ting Yun, where she buffed Qingque's by a lot and she doesn't really have to use her skills once every 3 turns. Not to mention her burst helps Qingque out with energy regen. So Ting Yun is a very important character on a free to play Qingque's team. Definitely Natasha is going to be here to heal your team, plus she doesn't really use up a lot of skill point, so that's really good. Pyro MC doesn't really require you too much skill point usage as well, and she's able to deal your team decent damage as well as Pyro weakness break a lot, so that is a very important members as well. So this is just an example of a free to play team that I usually will be using. Obviously there's a lot of mix and matches when it comes to team building of different floors and boss battle, and that's going to be different on each account and what character you have as well. Qingque is a very enjoyable character that I have been having a lot of fun with using her, and also guys, she does her job really well. Of course there has been a lot of gacha element when it comes to her skills, and it does get kind of frustrating whenever you don't have a 4 perfectly matched tiles after using up all of the skill points that you have. But generally, as I have mentioned, most of the time using up 2 of the skill point at most will already guarantee you a enhanced basic attack on Qingque, and at that point in time she'll be able to deal a ton of damage for your team, as well as a lot of weakness shield break. She has very nice character design and I really enjoy looking into her lore, and I must say I have a lot of enjoyable time when using her. So guys, that basically all I have to say regarding Qingque. I hope it has been a very helpful and valuable video for you. If you do have any questions, just feel free to leave it down in the comment section, and I or some other helpful Honkai Star Rail players will be there to help you out. Now I have a lot of other Honkai Star Rail videos for you guys to check out, so be sure to look into some of the other videos after this, as I'm sure it will be very helpful to you. If you're new to the channel guys, don't forget to subscribe, as I will be posting a lot of Honkai Star Rail videos in the future and Genshin Impact videos as well. Plus there's going to be a lot of giveaway for you guys, so that is going to be beneficial for you. Again, I really appreciate you guys sticking with me till this part of the video, and with that I wish you a super day and we'll catch you on my next video.